Hi there, I'm Eric. It's June 21st, 2026, and this is the 1-month follow-up video for my Google review of DentaTur Antalya. So a month ago today, I published the following Google review of DentaTur Antalya where I had my teeth done in 2024. I had an all-on-8 procedure at DentaTur with my extractions and placements in March and my final teeth in September. Within a month of coming home, I started to have a lot of issues, and I've been documenting how things have been going since then. Just as a recap, these are the photos I published with my initial review. These were basically all taken with the help of my wife or my dentist or my specialist that I'd been to. So when I was initially looking into having my teeth done in Turkey, I did a lot of research. I checked out Google reviews. I checked out what clinic as well as Trustpilot. DentaTur was highly rated at the time. It still is. And having been through what I've been through, I really doubt that all of the reviews are legitimate. So in the months since publishing, my rank has kind of increased. This is an incognito window here. So the default sort on Google reviews is most relevant. It's not exactly clear what most relevant means, but at the current moment, for where I'm viewing from in Canada here, I am the second most relevant. I've had friends check this out as well, so I'm currently the second most relevant behind this review here. I have 10 photos, this one has 6, and I have significantly more text than this person. I would say a lot more helpful details if you're doing your research, but for whatever reason, this is currently more relevant than my review is. What I've learned about Google reviews is that what's the most relevant varies depending on where you are, your Google search history, and a lot of other factors. So it'd be really helpful if you could give me a comment saying what my current rank is when you're viewing. Currently second. About a week ago I was number 1, but before that I was way down. I'm just going to jump to my notes here to help me stay on topic here. So what I've learned about Google reviews. So you've got the most relevant sort, which is the default, and then you've got newest. Newest is pretty self-explanatory. So 2 weeks ago I edited my review. And since that time, last I looked, there were 35 new 5-star reviews above my 1-star review. Just trying to find myself here. I'm about number 35 down at the moment. Of course, all of the reviews that have been published since mine are 5 stars, mostly one sentence, mostly without photos. How many of them are real in terms of being posted by real people and not people affiliated with the clinic, who's to say? But my review is real and very detailed. These are all very recent and very positive. But that's the newest sort. So the most relevant sort, I'm number 2. And from what I've learned, the most relevant ranking is largely based on the quality of your review, which is how many photos, if the photos are helpful, if your language is neutral and not too negative, as well as your kind of score as a Google reviewer. So before this I'd only published 2 Google reviews. Just kind of switch here. I've now published 8. I did some Google reviews for the hotels I stayed at in Turkey. I stayed at DentaTur's Hotel Paramis. I stayed at a hotel called Loy Suites as well as Ella Suites. Nothing negative to say about them. I've also published a few coffee shops near where I live. So I'm currently at 8 reviews. Toggling back here. So what my score is as a Google reviewer, who's to say, but better than it was. Just back to my notes here. So I did publish an edit about 2 weeks ago after the clinic replied to my my review. Just going to get into my notes on their reply. So DentaTur did respond, and they responded very carefully. So they said they rejected the statements in my review. They do not accept the claims. They say my review is part of a strategy intended to harm them. And they ended up by saying that they categorically denied the allegations, but no specific denials, only a blanket denial. My big question was, I went to the clinic, I was shown one style of restoration, and then they gave me these, what I've heard described as hybrid denture style bridges. They're impossible to clean under. I've had significant gum recession as well as fenestration because It's just impossible to get up under these huge ridges. And when I mentioned this in communication with DentaTur as well as in my review, they said that they had the right to change the procedure depending on the clinical, the clinical findings at the time of the surgery. When I asked what those findings were, of course, they would not reply. I asked for my file from the clinic when this all began. They provided it. It did not have the name of the doctor performing the surgery. It did not have any notes about any unexpected findings. So the question as to why I was shown one thing and given another is kind of, at the moment, it's in the realm of trust us. We wouldn't have changed it if we changed it, except for a good reason. They also won't confirm that I was shown one thing and given another thing. So that's where it stands, and that's kind of my thoughts on the review, the reply from the clinic. They do have the right to change the procedure if they discover something they hadn't expected. They did not document anything unexpected. They would not clarify what, if anything, they found, nor what the original intention was. If they had intended to give me these denture-style bridges, it may have not been communicated. I feel personally that I was deceived, but that's neither here nor there. So just moving on here. Back to my notes. I am going to edit my review here. I noticed that I had a small formatting issue, and that'll make it go to the top, which I might as well do real time now. So I noticed that I had missed a line space there, and these kind of things annoy me. So I put a lot of time and effort into writing a helpful review. I did make a mistake when I published my update with that one missing line break there. I think that's the only change I wanted to make. I probably have extra space at the end. Nope. So yeah, my review with the current reply is about as long as you can make a review on Google Reviews. That was all the changes I wanted to make, fixing the formatting there. I'm going to post this, rather update it right now, keeping the same photos and all that. Same photo order as well. So that is now revised and out there again, but it might not be visible for a little while because edits and a new post require, some kind of a bit of review period. Just going back to incognito here. Let's see if it is actually still visible. I'm going to refresh. So, come on. I suspect it's going to be in the pending state where it's not publicly visible. Looks like the Wi-Fi gods are being tricky here. So, newest sort. Okay, it's probably in pending because Mr. Howard Bennett's review is first, and then Gabor Fodor. What an adorable name that is. So yeah, it's not currently visible. It will likely be visible within an hour or two. I made a very minor edit to it. Just going back to my notes here and back to my own review. So yeah, some bigger questions here. So when I was doing my research, again, I did look very thoroughly, and since I've been sharing about this publicly, I get so many comments that you should have done more research. I don't honestly believe that's possible. Unfortunately, I've spoken to many people in the UK as well as Canada here and throughout the world since publishing. No one feels like they can get good information when they're getting all on 8, all on 4, all on 6. It's just so much marketing. You don't know what's marketing versus what's real. And for something so life-changing and so potentially easy to go wrong, easy to end up with complications, it's really a shame that people go through so much to end up with this kind of nonsense. Like, I'm going to lose these implants. I've been told by my specialist, several of them are at high risk of failing within a few years. This gunk under here is not for me lacking of attempting to clean. I floss, I use a water pick. You can't get up underneath these ledges. The best you can do is get floss in between around the implants. I've spoken to specialists who say that flossing around the implants themselves will help, but you just can't get the crap out. I feel it all the time. It's really distressing. But I'm not going to get too much into the my thoughts on the actual result. This is more about how Google reviews work. So, where are the 1- and 2-star reviews? Well, they do exist. but they are few and far between, and mostly they aren't very detailed. I've spoken to a few people who've been paid off to remove their reviews, and I'm not saying DentaTur in particular does that, but the whole industry has surprisingly good 5-star reviews, including people I've spoken to in the UK who had their work done in the UK, people I've spoken to in Canada who had it done in Canada. It's really frightening that there's so little transparency here. Very few people, when they do post a 1-star review, give you much details in terms of their final result, which is very unfortunate. When I was doing my research, my thoughts were the 5-star reviews are probably largely fake. The 1-star reviews may be maniacs. What do the 2 to 4-star range people say? And that's where I did most of my focus on. But again, at this point, it feels just like kind of a game system, and I feel really badly for the people who went through what I went through and got far worse results. There are people in constant pain. There are people who can't work anymore after what they had done. So I'm just trying to document that, how this all works to help other people out. Back to my notes here. Yeah, when you're doing your research, you get a lot of smiling selfies that don't show the gum junction. They don't show the actual quality of the work. You can't see how good it is or not good it is. Without being a dentist, this does not look good to me. If you think this looks wonderful, do tell in the comments. I've not seen one specialist tell me that I got a good result. As a lay person, had I been shown anything like this in the consultation room, I would have walked. The reviews you see are smiling selfies. They're mentions of beaches and hotels and 5-star accommodations. You don't really get anything helpful. Why don't people post their 1-star reviews with details? I think people are embarrassed. I think they are worried about privacy. I think there's a lot of fear that they're going to get sued by the clinic. And I've spoken to a lot of people who posted 1-star reviews on Facebook groups. The idea of a clinic suing you for factual statements that you made publicly about the quality of the service that they gave you, don't worry about it. Don't lie. Don't say anything you can't prove. And I'm not giving advice here. But holding back on sharing what you got and what happened to you because you're worried that you're going to get sued is ridiculous. Don't lie. Don't say anything you haven't fully documented, and be very careful. But you're doing a disservice to other people by not sharing the truth. Just moving along here. So, yeah, I've just published my review. Hopefully it will be live soon. I will be updating this over time, so this review is out there to help other people. I have an appointment in about 2 weeks with a specialist to document how things are going. I will probably be back in Antalya at a point later in the year. I may seek revision from another clinic, but that's kind of dependent on the research I'm able to do in the meantime and how much I trust the research I do. Again, being through this a second time now. So, just trying to wrap this up. Yeah, I do plan to continue updating this and making videos about it. I will be updating new photos as they come. I think the progression of how these things go is very important. You know, I found out when I was researching, I initially was trying to make a, Trustpilot review. You can't make a Trustpilot review on something you had done over a year ago, which I find crazy. They don't allow it. And with something like getting your teeth done, a year is nothing. Your teeth are meant to last the rest of your life. Not being able to post an update after a year is crazy to me. Google, luckily, does allow you to post updates going forward. Seems to be indefinitely, but I'm flabbergasted by how hard it is to get real information. And the idea that you'd be limited from showing documentation of your current health because it's more than a year out just seems crazy to me. So that's about it. Please do comment. Do you see my review on Google Reviews? Where do you see it? What position is it in under the most relevant sort? Just going to do a quick refresh here. It's been a few minutes. I doubt I'm out of the pending state yet. Hopefully I will be by the time this video goes live. Yeah, do give me a comment. Do reach out. If you have any questions, you can DM me. I'll try to reply. And good luck if you're considering getting dental work done abroad, if you're considering getting all on X in general. That's it. Bye for now.